going on, everyone? We got to cover Bitcoin today here because as you can see here with the prices, Bitcoin has been rejected all the way up here at the top of our bear flag. We're going to talk about this today. Remember, I'm not a financial advisor. None of this is financial advice, but let's get straight into it. So, like I said, Bitcoin literally has gotten rejected again at the top of our bear flag. And if you guys don't know, bear flags are bearish signals. They're very, very bearish patterns. So it's not a surprise that Bitcoin started to get rejected and go back down as that happened, right? So on the last Bitcoin video, you can actually see I made it a couple days ago on the 18th, and it was right around this area. I was like, hey, we're probably just going to continue to drop down here. We stopped about halfway there, and that's kind of because we are pretty much out of resistance. As you can see here, we had resistance here. We're at a support area. Our resistance becomes our support. So literally, we just used that area as support just now. But that's just one support level that we're going to touch on the way down. We're going to touch a lot more support levels on the way down here, and we're probably going to end up seeing Bitcoin dropping faster after we break this level around 70K. Once we go below 70K, I think we're going to get a massive drop coming very, very quickly. Like after we're down below 70K, I think this thing's going to dump massively, and I think it'll hit 60K pretty quickly. Right. Right now we're up still 2.5% in the last 24 hours, up 3.7% still in the last week, and 8.8% in the last 2 weeks, and 7.8% in the last month. But that doesn't mean anything, right? It does not mean anything. So not only are we seeing the bear flag here, but we're also seeing this. This is bearish divergence 101. So we have bearish divergence going on pretty much. And what we get with bearish divergence is higher highs on the charts, as in the prices, and then we get lower highs on the MACD, as you can see on the left side here. So if you look at the MACD, what are we having here? Lower highs. So you can see right here, this is one high. This high is lower than the previous. This high is lower than both of those. And then we're going to continue to see it going down as we see this going up, and then it's going to finally cross over, and then it's going to dump. So again, bearish divergence. We're getting lower highs on the MACD. And then when you look at the charts, what's happening? We're seeing higher highs on the charts simultaneously, which is literally bearish divergence. So we are pretty much building up bearish divergence here on the charts in MACD. So we just got to prepare for it. It's going to end up coming here pretty soon. And again, look at these higher highs. It's pretty much how the bearish divergence works. All right. And then on the percent R trend exhaustion, we're literally building up the same exact thing that we did back here. The short-term trend did not follow the long-term trend up here. And look, everybody has their own way of doing a technical analysis. Everybody has their own way. Some people don't like using indicators at all, and some people do. Me personally, I only use 4 indicators. Literally, and I don't consider the Fibonacci as an indicator. The Fibonacci is technically a drawing. The Fibonacci is just a drawing. So I use drawings like the Fibonacci. I use all my different chart patterns like bear flags, bear pennants, ascending triangle, descending triangle, rising wedge, falling wedge, symmetrical triangle, both bearish, bearish, double top, all these other head and shoulders, all that other stuff, divergence on the MACD. And then I also like to use the percent R trend exhaustion because it tracks the trend. It almost acts like the RSI, right? But it's a different version that specifically tracks the trend from the long-term and the short-term trend. So it's much better than the RSI in my personal opinion. And then the other indicators I like to use is the chart prime indicators. And no, I didn't set that up to do some type of plug in here. But hey, now that I'm here, shameless plug, chart prime indicators, check out link in the description, all that good stuff. But I also use the chart prime indicator just to kind of run back what I've already been doing. So I'll go ahead and hide all the indicators that we have now, and we'll just use chart prime. So according to chart prime, we are right below equilibrium price point, but it is a heavy resistance area. So anytime I draw, it's going to come right back. So let's hide it again. But it is a heavy resistance area. As you can see here with this red line, is just indicating that we do have resistance here. We're getting rejected at the equilibrium price point. And then we have the red momentum wave band, which is pretty much the resistance wave band for us. And our volume profile over here, our volume profile indicator for chart prime, is showing that we are having more selling pressure than buying pressure in this region. And there's not much buying pressure here until we get up to 85K. So the buying pressure in this area is small until 85K. We might not actually have enough buying pressure to push us higher here on Bitcoin. So as we go down, there is more buying pressure as we go down, but there's a much, much more selling pressure down here as it goes down. So we're going to end up seeing more selling pressure than we see buying pressure down here. So as we start to pull back here on Bitcoin and go closer towards 70K, look right here at 70K. Look at that massive amount of selling pressure that's going to happen around 70K. We see massive selling around this area 70K. That's like I was saying before. After 70K, it's going to have a huge dump, right? And then we're going to get some more support around these levels here. We're going to see some support around the 60K area, and that's why you're starting to see the buying volume on the volume profile showing up here around 60K. And like I said, you can use automated trading indicators to help you find that out, or you can just, know the price action, but you can't just know things, you got to learn them somehow. But yeah, me personally, I use a mixture of both of these indicators. So again, now that we're looking at it without the automated indicators, when we come down here, we have strong support at 60K. You don't really need an indicator to tell you that there's buying pressure down here, because as soon as we hit that level, we immediately spiked up. And remember what the volume profile indicator said? It also said around 64, 63K, 62K. That whole range is a big buying pressure area. And look, as soon as it hit there, it shot up. You don't need indicators to tell you that. But if you want to check out Chart Prime, link in the description for that. But like I said, I think this is going to be a fast dump once we break 70K. So once we break 70K, and more importantly, once we get out of this bear flag here, then I think that's going to be when that starts to speed up. Only thing that we have to worry about here with Bitcoin is whether or not we build a bullish double bottom. Now, double bottoms, they don't happen all the time, but when they happen, it's pretty much the reversal from a bearish market to a bullish market. So typically, if we have a double bottom, that could mark the bottom of this bear market, right? So personally, I don't think it's going to happen, because I was saying the same thing back here on this previous one. I was like, look, if we get a double bottom, that might be a reversal on the bear market, right? We did not get a double bottom. Literally, we had the same exact pattern that we're building right now. Like back here, it was just a smaller version. It was just a smaller version from November 21st, 2025, all the way over here till January 19th, 2026. So you had November, December, January, minus 1 month because you went half through both months. So 2 months, right? And then when you look over here, we've been doing this since the 5th of February. And right now is April. So we had all of February, March, most of April. So almost 3 months we've been going through this right now. And it's almost about the same amount of time as it was back here. So I think that this is going to happen soon, and we're going to see the next drop. And not many influencers on X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it, are realizing this. But this guy Ted, he's been the only one that has been putting out gems. Right? Whenever I see his name, I just think of TED Talks. Right? But he kind of looks like the TED Talks guy too. So I don't know. He might be TED Talks, but yeah, his name is Ted. But he's the only person I've seen that have been actually giving good info on there. So he says Bitcoin failed to reclaim the key weekly zone. This is a classic bull trap rally. I definitely agree with that. And then he said that Bitcoin has formed a CME gap at 77.4K. This could be a zone where Bitcoin could pump before continuing the downtrend, but it did get rejected a little bit, but it's above 74K now. So we'll see if it pumps any higher. We'll see if it does that. All right. But right now, I'm not really worried about it. I think that this is going to continue on a nasty downtrend. All right. But anyways, hit the like button, subscribe. Remember, I'm not a financial advisor. None of this is financial advice. Check out the link in the description for Advantify. You can trade up to 500x leverage on Bitcoin perps. Bitcoin futures literally up to 500x leverage. 0 fees if you're trading high leverage, anywhere from 75x to 500x. 0 fees. But if you're not trading that high, You can do up to 75x leverage and with a little bit of fees. And if you sign up through the discount, through the link in the description, you get a discount on your trading fees. So go ahead and check that out. You know, you can trade oil, you can trade stocks, you can trade S&P 500, you can trade everything. You can trade 4x on this because it's a DeFi trading platform. That's why I love crypto. That's why I love these DeFi platforms. Check it out. Link in the description. Check out Chart Prime, best automated trading indicators in the game. Literally get 40% off if you get the yearly plan. And you can also get 20% off of that if you use the discount code Prime20. So check it out. Link in the description. You won't be disappointed. This is all I got for you guys today. Like I said, hit the like button, subscribe, all that good stuff. And as always, I'll be back with another video.